Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 74 of Direwolf20's Age of Engineering series. Just chilling on my space station, having a lovely time. So last episode we worked on some mechanism stuff. Between episodes I cleaned up some things. We also worked on some Ender IO stuff over here, and we got this room pretty much all sorted out, right? We've got the carpenters all running. Between episodes I did a bunch of work, pretty much cleaning up. I've got this stuff running, so my precision chamber, turning things into processed circuits, and then analyzing those circuits and kicking them into an interface, which is then kicking them over to my main base in the overworld, right, in the main dimension, where I've got drawers set up to store stuff. And then pretty much what I was doing before was like any of the excess junk that got thrown in here wound up just going into like a crate or something. Now it's just going into the applied energistic system, which is cool. I also reset up some of the algorithm separator stuff and some of the docking stations that I had here for all my logical crafting stuff. So down in the basement here, there's just more crafting around calculator for the most part, where above ground we've got Ender IO and forestry crafting going on. And there's room in this room for a little bit more crafting. We've also got obviously lots of lasers going on to power all my machines, which is cool. And I've got another one in the basement here powering a bunch of machines. I ran out of connections up here, so we're at 16 out of 16, and I didn't have room for the centrifuge. So the centrifuge is being powered by this one down here. Eventually maybe I'll bump it up to a wyvern just so that it like looks cool, but ultimately it really doesn't matter. The other thing I did was moved over my draconic crafting stuff. So that stuff is moved over here. So this is my draconic and miscellaneous crafting room. So like a resonator, for example, if I decide to start auto crafting with that, would be available. I threw this stuff in the corner here, and that gives me plenty of space in this room to do further auto crafting. Plus in my basement I've got lots of room available. So any miscellaneous crafting stuff that I might want to do would probably wind up over here eventually. I'm thinking things like like the lava crafting the demonic ingot, right? Or the crafting of applied energistics crystals that have to sit in the pool of water for a minute, right? That kind of stuff would be perfect in this room because it's a big open space underground there, and we have plenty of room to handle that. And then the next task for me that I decided to do on camera would be my immersive engineering room. And this is kind of the layout that I'm thinking, right? So immersive engineering, big machines, right? So I'm thinking we'll probably put it in one of these big corner rooms, and that's what I'm going to build out right now real quick is the immersive engineering stuff. So with that said, I've moved all my components across, and we're going to basically build this thing right now if we can. So I've got some conveyor belts, and I've got some wooden barrels and blocks of steel and all this cool stuff that basically I'm going to be building out with, right? So I think for the most part, these should be all the components that I really need to build with. Boom and boom. Cool. And I mean, some of these more so than others, right? So let's get a build in, shall we? I should have pistons in here. Did I forget my pistons? Yes, and hoppers and cauldron. Those are some other items that are related to that. What else do I got going on in here? Nothing else really just yet, but soon we will be using some of those other items. So first things first, I'd like to get, not the arc furnace, but the... Yeah, so that was a crash. Anyway, so redstone, piston, heavy, right? So let's just start with like the basic ones that we're gonna need here, right? So redstone, piston, heavy, and then we've got these guys ready to roll. So what I figured I would do is just run these in like a straight line. So we'd start with this. And this should work without issue for the most part, I would expect. Well, let me do one at a time here, right? So let's get our wrench. We're probably also going to need our engineering hammer, which I don't think I have on me. Engineering hammer. There you are. Yeah, let's hang on to that dude for us. Cool. And then we'll have our scaffolding, our conveyors. I should probably consider... no oxygen, right. You probably have to recalculate since I had blocks there. And this thing. Cool. And then we'll just repeat that pattern. Oxygen, please. Recalculate. at some point. That would be nice. You and you. Nice. Why am I short 2 conveyors? That makes almost no sense. Did I only have 3 of these? Or did I have 4 of them? Trying to remember what was in my base. Maybe it was only 3. Well, we'll stick with 3 for now. How many of these things did we have? So I've only got 2 plate presses, because that makes sense. I had a magnet on me the whole time, so I shouldn't have lost anything. So one of these is a gear. Shouldn't I have a rod press? Isn't that what I should have? I should. I should have a rod press. Because we can see the recipes, right? So we had some rods, we had some gears, and we had the copper wire ingot thing, right? So we should have a rod press. I mean, I can get one. I can make a new one. It's just weird that, you know. So what do I need? Steel plates? Good thing I have steel available. Because the thing that crafts steel is currently in this room. In pieces. Alright, so, ow, oxygen please. You, if you ever want to, like, force oxygen to recalculate, by the way, basically all you have to do is turn it off and on again. Hello, IT, have you tried turning it off and on again? And that should fix oxygen over here. Because it's such a large area, like, I guess he's purposely restricting the amount of calculation times he does, so see no more oxygen issues. So basically, like, it only refreshes the oxygen in the room every now and then, so not a big deal. So those will be my my piston presses, and I'm kind of thinking I might want to make these flush with these other 2 machines. Might be cool. So might rebuild that real quick, because if I'm only gonna have 3, that's cool. Why don't I do that? Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, right? So basically just have it there, and then we can have our interfaces hooked up, right? So we've got our metal press. So that'll be gear, that, and that. That should be cool, right? Now I kind of want this stuff to be relatively mirrored to each other. So I'm sticking this in the corner. Nobody put squeezer in the corner. And that's going to be the squeezer, I think, right, that we had set up. So it looks a little bit something like this. So the scaffolding, the pipe, and then the light engineering block back here. Scaffolding. 1 or 2 pipes. Cool. And let's put you back on number 3. That's usually where I like to have this stuff set up. And then the redstone there, we want piston in the middle. With these guys like that. Redstone guy here. Piston in the middle. And what do we have? Fences around this thing? Did I miss something? That's about it. That should be pretty much forming. Did I miss a light engineering block? I totally did. There we go. Nice. Okay, cool. So that'll be my squeezer. And then my my crusher can be over here, right? So that's this guy. Pause him. So lights, 2 lights in the middle, scaffolding all around. 2 lights in the middle. You can see I kind of mapped out where this was all going to go ahead of time. Because again, part of the goal of the space station really is to make it look halfway decent. You know, like, I'm not the best builder in the world. You guys are well aware of that fact. But I'm trying. And hopefully that's cool. So 3 lights, light in the middle, light on the end with redstone. With this stuff all around. Cool. Cool. There we go. We've got that going now. Nice. All right, last one, arc furnace. I'm going to build this off camera because it's the big one. There we go. Arc furnace up and running. Nice. So Now let's talk automation. I'm thinking I should have an underground. Do I want an underground for this room or not? To be honest, I don't... I think I should. Kind of feel like I should have an underground area that connects into this. This is my first large room that I'm building in, which is part of the reason I'm doing this on camera, because it's the first large room that I'm building in. So yeah, I have to figure out like what I want to do with this, because basically, also I would love it if I could come up with a way to do this thing better. I'm thinking RF Tools Control can do it, but we'll see. Let me build the underground area here, and I'll be right back. It's going to require a lot of these blocks. And probably a decent amount of other stuff, too. How am I up for laboratory? Not terrible, actually. I've been doing lots of building in this area, so I've got a decent amount of these. Be right back. Dude, I gotta say, I do really like this mechanism smelting factory thing. It's pretty cool. It definitely is. 0 joules. Why are you saying you have 0 joules in there? You should have plenty of power. I've got muffling, I've got energy upgrades, and I've got speed upgrades. So you should be doing cool on power. I mean, I guess you kind of are. How's this thing doing? Not bad. This thing's cooking up more juice for me, which is cool. Maybe I just need the next tier of cable. That could be the case. Let's see what happens when you're done crafting. Are you almost done crafting? Yes, you're doing the last 40-ish or so. So you should be done in about 5 seconds. That's kind of cool. I requested like 400 stone, and it was like less than a minute, which is pretty slick. Is this just like a visual bug on the joules thing? It might just be a visual bug. I think it is. The smelter must not be showing the internal power. That's all. Okay. If that's the case, then fine. I mean, it was running fine, so it's all good. The reason I needed that is because I ran out of stone. I had like thousands and thousands of stone here, and I guess that's what happens when you make a bunch of stuff. A big old space station. Cool. So I'm just making the last of this. And I think because this is my first giant underground room, I'm going to have to figure out... I mean, it's not my very first giant underground room, because the center, I guess, counts. But it's the first outside the area thing. So this will make it dark in here. Let's do my exchanger. Where is my exchanger? I must have it on me. Cool, cool. And let's get our laboratory blocks. I've liked to have about a stack of those on hand whenever needed. So how do I want to do this? So I'm thinking I'd like to do 3x3. You know what? Let's upgrade this guy, because I can now, right? So we're just going to want... I haven't like load balanced my crafting yet, but I will soon. So if I want to upgrade you... Oh, I need pulsating iron. And I just need... Oh, right, I needed a nutrient distillation bucket. Correct. So I need two of those. Nutrient distillation. I don't know if I've actually got anything set up to really make that. I mean, I have some right here. Can I get that out? It made the noise, but it didn't actually take it out. Can you pull? Apparently not. You know what? I do have a vat that makes nutrient distillation, don't I? I do. I totally do. Yep, totally have one. Alright, so that should be the next tier. Sweet. Again, I added this mod to the pack. It wasn't part of it. So then I can bump this guy up to 5x5, which is cool. What's the max you can do? Is it 5x5? Yeah. Nice. So that should give me a rather nice window. That is neat. I like that a lot. I'm digging this mod. It's a nice mod. But you guys know I've always liked the exchanger mechanic, right? So no surprise there. Now, how are we going to run cabling over here? What I was suspected I would do is basically run this cable across. So what I'd like, so this taps into the center of the room, right? And right now I've just got one thing in here. Technically, by rights, there should be a thickened cable right here that's chilling. So let's get a few more of those, because it looks like we're kind of short on cables, believe it or not. I must have some somewhere sitting around that I was in the middle of moving. right? So technically that's how this should look. But then with regards to this, do I have any more cables sitting around? Are you still in the process of crafting? Yeah. Nice. Look how fast it makes glass and everything. I love it. How am I doing on wool, by the way? Not terrible, but I should be getting more. Let's get like 100 more cabling, and we'll be right back. There we go. Dude, I love automation. So basically, what we'd have is this guy running through here, right? That's pretty much how we've been doing things. So here, how do I want to do this? I might want to run this around the outside edge of the room, because that's kind of how I've been running my P2P cabling, right? So we'll have a new P2P setup over here. So this will, how we want to do this for now, right? So this would technically connect to here once it's a controller, right? But because we can't connect to the corner of quantum rings, what I'll do is throw a P2P on the bottom here. P2P this guy up. Which will just be another access point, right? That'll be here. And then we can snag a copy of you for use in a minute over here. And the way I've been basically running this, here's like how I've been avoiding any issues with atmospheric breathing and whatnot. We do this into like, you know, roughly what would be the center of the room. Then we get this part built around it. And then we can break it, right? So in here, we're still pressurized. We didn't lose pressure by doing that. And this room is not pressurized, right? Breathable, no. But when I break this block, pressurized, yes. Cool. So now I can breathe in this room. And we can hook into our P2P here. Loaded configuration. And now I've got channels that are available for this room. Sweet. And I did make some large cables, which I can, you know, hook up here. And we're good to go. Awesome. So top and bottom floor are pressurized. We can breathe in both of them. I can probably remove this for the time being, put it away. Come over. No, you were supposed to go in here, dudes. You are supposed to go on. Much better. All right, we can remove the sign because we know now that it is an immersive engineering room, and we can start building out the stuff. Oh, the other thing I want to run is power relays and wireless stuff. So I've got a basic energy relay with content saved, and do we have any wireless with content saved? We might. No, maybe not, but that's okay. So the wireless will go in the center of the room still, right? And we'll draconic binder that guy for a sec. And we will bind you to all the different machines. So back here, this actually has multiple inputs. 1, 2, 3. This guy can bind on top of here. Here, here, and here, and here. That should be cool, right? And then underground, I've usually liked... Let's get like the exact center of the room is usually how I've been doing it. That looks cool, right? Remember, temporarily no oxygen there, but that's okay. Turn on your jetpack, it's a little bit easier to navigate the low gravity, which I leave off for when I'm, you know, doing stuff. So are you cool? You should be cool. So I can draconic bind this to whichever of the other crystals that we want. It really doesn't matter. So this is a relay, right? So you've got 3 out of 8 links. You've now got another link. That's pretty cool looking, right? And then when we bind this guy, he will suddenly get power that he will distribute to everybody else. See the little particle effects going? And this thing filled up with IF and IF and IF and IF and IF. And everybody's got power, and everybody's happy. Nice, right? How cool is that? I like it. Oh, and just as an FYI, I also have been making the center of the room a glass block just to kind of like, hey, this is how the energy laser travels through that glass block, and you can kind of see down there. I think it's kind of a neat effect. I don't know, we'll see. I haven't fully decided if I like that or not, but I think it works. All right, so now we just need interfaces and crafting and whatnot. So that shouldn't be too bad. So let's figure out how I want to run. So like you spit out the front here. So I might want to stick with the interfaces. Interfaces, we've got lots of cabling, which is cool. Item filters and conduits, which is nice. We've also got a chest or two. So I probably want to have an interface back here, right? That will accept the slag that falls out the back here, right? And that basically just dumps it into the system. So let's not forget that that exists for a minute. An interface here to collect the output of items. An interface here to collect the output of items. Does this spit out the front? Kind of. Yeah, I think it does, right? That's what the orange little circle means. Okay. So an interface there to select, and that's the input right there. So I haven't really automated anything with this guy yet, but we may eventually. We'll see. Now for these, how do I want to deal with the metal presses? Do we want to stick with like the interfaces on the three sides, like the input-output interfaces like we were doing? I feel like that should work. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. So what we could do is basically just run this into the floor. And the same here. And you know what I want to do? Let's try this out. Anchor. How would this look? Looks good to me. I would like it if like the texture formed properly, but it's not the end of the world that it doesn't, because it's kind of an like indication like, yeah, this thing's like a thing. Cool. So you guys can all go there. And then we'll get the cabling back here as well. Nice. All right. So now, basically, wow, I'd kind of like this to come into the room a little bit more. So you're still a memory thing. Hey, wrong block. That should be cool. Loaded. And then we'll throw this guy here. So there's 6 devices right here. Right? So that should be 6 channels in use once I connect this up. And I should use my jetpack. I kind of don't like using the jetpack right now because it slows down my speed. So in theory, this should be 6 channels in use. Nice. Come on, catch up. 0 channels in use. Fail. So I kind of know what's happening here. As suspected, I'm imposed upon a rate limit in terms of the number of channels allowed to go through this thing. I assumed that I could connect to multiple sides here and transfer more than 32 channels through, but I guess that's not the case, because it doesn't seem to be working. So that's a thing that doesn't work the way I thought it did. Cool. I know what this calls for. Another quantum bridge! Hooray! And everybody's excited. This will just be easier. Boom. Right, so we'll hook you up here. We'll get a dense cable going in between these two. I guess here is fine. And we'll just have to figure out back home, or back at the base, how to run this cabling. So again, the quantum bridge is temporary. Eventually it'll be all controller based on this side, but we've got enough channels on both sides right now. So what I'm thinking is, like right now I've got what I should have done, which would have been smarter, would be to have a dense cable here so we could see how many channels are being used. But I'm a derp, so I didn't do that. So for now, we'll just set up a new quantum bridge. Hey, Don't I have my magnet on me? I thought I did. Magnet. Alright, so what we can do is just set up a new quantum bridge here. And I should be able to tap into just the power of this existing guy with some fiber cabling. So I think you could run like this, couldn't you? No, I guess not. Would that work? And then you're online and powered? Neat. Okay, cool. And then we can, what I'll do just to make sure that this is like super clear, right? I'll dense cable this. Like so. I'm gonna break you for a minute. I'm gonna P2P you. I'm gonna need another quartz dude. Hey, wrong thing. Right, so, hey, did the wrong thing again. I'm used to being able to, like, break just the cable and not that, but for whatever reason, most of the wrenches don't seem to work, and I haven't gotten around to getting a wrench that does let me do that. Cool. Right, so now I can see how many channels are in use at least, and we can grab our memory card and get ready for this, but let's give this thing power. So that should get power into this channel line. Nice. Okay, cool. So you can technically go to this room. So loaded. Nice. Now we've got our 6 channels in there. Sweet. Right, that's linked input side. This is unlinked. So let's copy you. And you should come into here. Cool. And this is really only using like 1 channel, but that's fine. So now we're in a little bit better shape. So if we go home, everything should still be working. My dimensional... Oh, there it is. We'll see how many things are going on. Cool. So this one's using 7 channels now, and this one's using... Oh, wow, 32 still? Really? Are you really using 32? I should check that out. It's possible. I mean, I was going a little hog wild on channels, but... So we've got 1, 2, right? So, like... This guy is coming in on our P2P. That's using 15. And this guy is using 17. Okay, so yeah, it's totally using 32. Okay, good to know. Neat. Maybe I will swap one of these to this one. Yeah, I feel like that would probably be smart, right? Let's move this guy onto this connector. So what I'll do is we'll put this here, right? And we can link the P2P to it. We will save this. We'll break this. We'll reconnect. That was supposed to go here. Okay. You, I really don't want connecting, actually. Dire wire in the house. At least until we fix this. All right. So you're saved. Are you still getting power, this guy? You may or may not be directly connected to power. So let's fix that real quick. Cool. So that'll just make sure everything has power and we're good. Nice. Yeah, that should be fine. Cool. And then we just load this guy up over here. So you'll activate your channels again. There we go. 18. Cool. So I guess maybe he was using a little more than I thought. Nice. Cool. And then if we go home now, we should see channels behaving. Okay. So 25 here, 17 here. That'll be good, at least hopefully until we move more stuff. And this should be pretty cool. So in total now, we should have a few more channels going on here. Oh, I got a network engineer achievement. What's that mean? Reach 128 channels using devices on the network. Sweet. That's pretty cool. So we just hit 9 channels here, which should be good. That's cool. So that means coming out of this guy, we've got 10 and 18, so that's 28. So we actually are getting pretty close to the limit on this, but that's fine. Because we're wrapping up pretty much with... Soon I'm going to wind up moving the controller to the satellite, or to the space station, and then will be cool. So that should mean that all my auto crafting is ready to roll, I think. And again, we'll do more moving of stuff off camera between episodes. I wanted to do like a mix, right? Some gets moved on camera, some gets moved off camera. That's kind of the approach that I'm taking here. So you guys can see a lot of like the building of the new space station, but not a lot of repeated content. Because I could spend like days, right, just moving, you know, stuff. So a mix of on-camera, off-camera work. So all now I have to do is throw my recipes in, and we should be cool. We'll also want our dropper and our chest, because I'll probably want to do something with the crusher. I haven't set up the dropper for that yet. Item filters, engineer's workbench. I should probably just throw this somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. That looks like a nice place for it, right? The dropper needs to be in here, right? So we totally need to come up with a good dropper situation. So I haven't entirely decided how I'm going to want this to come up. What I could do... That's kind of not a good line. I could run... I'm trying to avoid too much cabling in here, but I'm going to need another interface that I totally didn't consider. I need this guy, right? So I could bring him up the back. That wouldn't be the end of the world, right? And then cable it up there. And I could facade this. Do I still have one of those conduit facade dudes? Cool. That should be fine. Nice. Okay, cool. That all looks nice to me. I like it. So not terrible at all. So your recipes are this, this, and that, I presume. Okay. This is the rod recipes. So that would be copper rod, titanium rod, steel rod. That looks like this recipe, which means by process of elimination, this has to be the gear recipe. Yep. So that would be you guys. Dilithium dust from dilithium ore presumably goes in here. And then the last one would be this guy. Can I run? Oh, it would be so nice. It's a little missing oxygen spot right there. It would be super nice if I could run conduiting up there. I could probably do that and facade it. Do I have any facades? I do. And I have 3 laboratory block facades, which is awesome. So let's get the item conduits here. Right? So you're going to be you and you. And then you're going to run through here. Okay. You are going to be insert on green. You're going to be insert on green. You can be... guess these, the left one, and then you are the coke dust. We'll have to just test this, by the way. Incoming possible oxygen breach. Nope, not terrible. Not until I break this one, at least. Cool. I like that. And then, I guess just a chest would be fine here. And then we can put the recipes in here. So this kind of like serves two purposes. One, it'll be the recipes for all these guys, which will be extract on green, always active. And then two, it'll be the output for that stuff. So in theory now, I should be able to request steel. No problem, right? So if I, do I have any coke dust? Because that'll tell me if pretty much everything's working, right? We have no coke dust, and I want to make 10 steel ingots, right? So start that process up. Ah, that's cool. They fall slowly. Let's take our magnet off for a minute. They'll fall faster once I, you know, gravity better. This seems to be working. Beautiful. And then I just need to that, and we'll be in great shape. Cool. All right, wrapping up point. Darwell20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and have more fun. For now, take it easy.